Bonza is picking up the pieces. Well, actually, it's not. After cancelling all flights across Australia and entering voluntary administration. Don't mean to laugh about it, but I just had to correct myself. Joining us live now is the aviation journalist, Geoffrey Thomas. Yeah, there's no more pieces to pick up because it's gone, Geoffrey. So what went wrong?
Well, Peter, what went wrong? Sadly, it appears that the financial backers of Bonza have had significant problems in the United States, and the leases of the aircraft have changed hands. The aircraft were repossessed, receivers brought in, so it looks like it's final. The Bonza model has been used overseas in several locations and worked. It was a good operation. It did have a few problems, teething problems, but I think they were exacerbated by the funding issues of their primary backer. And that's been the problem.
So it's not so much a lack of demand thing here. It's a business perspective, a business move that didn't work or go to plan.
Indeed. The model's good. It's been proven very successful by people like Allegiant in America and Ryanair in Europe. The flights were full. My understanding, most of the flights were full. Of course, it all depends on what they're charging. If they're not charging enough, it's not necessarily turnover; it's leftover. But through the initial year or so, they do require solid funding from their backers, and if that's not coming through, and if the aircraft that they've been promised aren't delivered, and so expansion plans have to be cancelled, then that really becomes turbulence that they can't withstand.
So Bonza's not alone, right? I mean, there's a whole line of budget smaller airlines that just don't work here. I mean, what's the trap that they're falling into?
Well, the big problem, has been, we go back in time, if I can, to people like Qantas 1 and Qantas 2. The problem there was funding. The business model was, yes, that's going to work, but they didn't have economy of scale, and they didn't have deep pockets. Aviation is not a profitable industry. Even leaving COVID aside, when the airline industry globally lost $300 billion, the aviation industry's never made money since the first passenger stepped on an aeroplane in 1919. It's a very savage industry. Ansett, for instance, when it went bankrupt in 2001, Ansett was the merger and acquisition of 66 airlines that had folded over the previous 30 or 40 years. So it's a savage battleground.
So, look, we'll close here, but I mean, is the future just, a two-horse race here? I mean, well, not really two when we got Rex factored in with Qantas and Virgin, but I mean, should this discourage the smaller budget airlines from coming on board?
Look, sadly, it will. I mean, Virgin, Qantas and Rex are very powerful brands. You've got to have something super special to really make an impact, and they are, for all their faults, they are really good operators, world-class operators, and that makes it very difficult for an upstart.